All right, y'all, let's talk about the Goodreads Choice Awards 2025. This will not be a reaction to the Goodreads Choice Awards like nominees in general. I'm not really gonna like scroll through it and talk about every book that's been nominated. There's a bunch of other people who have done that on the internet, and I think that their reactions are genuinely very fascinating to listen to. Um, so I don't want to go and rehash the same stuff that everybody's already said, but what I do want to do is give you my TBR of the books that got nominated that are already on my TBR list that I'm prioritizing, bumping up to the front of the line because they got nominated. Um, so yeah, these are all things that I had already decided that I wanted to read before the nominations came out and that I am going to try to get through so that I can vote for maybe some of them in the Goodreads Choice Awards this year. So I guess it's a TBR for the next 2 weeks. I think there's 2 weeks left. I don't remember. I think there's 1 week. I think there's 1 week until the nomination closes. So like there's literally no way that I'm gonna get to vote for or that I'm gonna get through all of these and gonna get to vote for necessarily any of them. But if I do uh you know prioritize this, we can bump some of these to the front of the line because I'm excited about them because they got nominated. So that's what we're gonna do. And I am giving myself a little bit of an editing challenge because I don't own any of these, so I'm gonna have to attempt to put them on screen for you here. So let's get into it. These are not in any particular order. They're mostly, I was just scrolling through looking at my phone. So like I didn't go through the categories in any particular order. I think I just have one. No, I have one in most of the. So my primary. I'm getting ahead of myself. So my primary categories that I read that come up in the Goodreads Choice Awards are romance, fantasy, romantasy, YA fantasy, and YA fiction. So those are kind of my top five. Not that I've never dabbled in the other ones. I have. I read widely and variedly. But those are the five that I really gravitate towards. And you'll notice a theme that they are all kind of dealing with the same general ideas of like relationships between people and speculative fiction. Sometimes I trend towards sci-fi. And I did get to vote in the Sci-Fi Goodreads Choice Awards this year because I did actually read a couple of the books that ended up on the list. First of the nominations I'm going to try to get to is Heavenly Tyrant by Xiran J. Zhao. This is the sequel to Iron Widow. And I breezed through Iron Widow a number of years ago. I wanted the rest of it immediately. And for whatever reason, since Heavenly Tyrant actually finally came out, I've just been sitting on it, I guess waiting for the magical perfect moment to to read it, which is silly because like there's no perfect moment to read a book. It's just the moment you do actually read the book is the moment for it most of the time. But yeah, I've just been sitting on it. So we're gonna prioritize it now. I'm really excited to kind of see what happens and get back into it and you know finish that off because it's a story in the back of my head that's been sitting open for years. The next one on my list is YA fiction, and it's Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Glorious Rivals is, I think, the second book in the second series of the Inheritance games. So, like, the Inheritance games is a trilogy, and then she kept writing about the same characters, but now it's like slightly in the future, and there's a whole crop of like new characters that are being introduced in kind of their own games. So I think Glorious Rivals is the sequel in the second, like it's the second one in the second series. But I also have a book on my shelves right now, which is like a collection of short stories in that universe with those characters. And I also saw at Target today that there is another book published in that series that I've never heard of before. So, and I don't think that it's like the next one after Glorious Rivals. I think it's probably different. I didn't look at it too close though. Anyway, I started reading Jennifer Lynn Barnes's books with the Inheritance Games, and I am super excited to see, like, I inhaled the Inheritance Games, and then I went back and read her old series that's kind of like if Criminal Minds was about high schoolers, like if there was like a high school FBI Criminal Minds team. Um, and I read that series, and I also inhaled that, and I really enjoy her books. I find them super fun. So yeah, I really like this series and the characters in them, and I love that it's giving like teenage Knives Out with extra romance thrown in there just for fun. And so I'm excited to see what happens next in that series. I followed along with it so far. The next one that I'm doing, I'm not actually going to try to read the book that's actually nominated because I'm not that far in the series. So the book that's nominated is The Gingerbread Bakery by Laurie Gilmore, and it is the fifth book in her Dream Harbor series. It's a romance. I am only on book 3 because I didn't want to read the Christmas Tree Farm book, which is book 3, like, 6 months ago when I finished book 2. Like, I finished book 2, I read that one out of season because that was very autumnal. No, it was like a summer book. The first one is super autumnal. The second one feels like a summer book. And then the third one is a Christmas tree. It's like Christmas season book. But anyway, it was like, it just didn't feel right to read a Christmas Tree Farm at that time. But now it's November, so it's the season. So, like, yeah, I'm gonna try to read the third one in the series and keep working my way towards being caught up on that series. But I'm not actually gonna read the one that's nominated. So, but yeah, it's on my list. I like it. I'm glad it's nominated. That's cool. The next one is in the romantasy category. I have 2 books from the romantasy category on my list. The first one that I want to read that I'm putting in here is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I don't remember a whole lot about what this book was about. Let's refresh ourselves, shall we? And the category is romantasy. Also, just a brief comment on this. I did see that all 3 of the Dramione books got nominated, and like I get that everybody's been talking about them for ages, but I didn't realize anybody was actually reading them. Maybe that's just the bubble that I'm in over on this corner of the internet, but I don't want to pay extra for fan fiction I could read for free if I wanted to read them, which I don't really, but like still, I have questions. I have questions about that. I mean, I guess, if you want to, sure, but I thought, I don't know. I wasn't aware we were actually reading them. I thought that people just were commenting on it a lot. Okay, The Night and the Moss by the Night and the Moss. The Night and the Moth. Sybil Delling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. Like the other foundling girls who traded a decade of service for a home in the great cathedral, Sybil is a diviner. She dreams about the omens. She can make predictions. A night shows up and she dreams of death, and then by one the diviners vanish. She works together with the night. The world outside the cathedral is wrought with peril. The 7 omens are not merely figures that visit her wakeless mind. They are real, ancient, sorcerous, and cunning. And the night may be one of them. Dun dun dun! Okay, yeah, I remember now why I thought that was cool and interesting and kind of fun. I feel like that description really, like, tells you a lot, I wonder how far into the book you have to get before you're, like, not surprised because the premise told you everything. You know what I mean? I guess that's something I'll figure out when I read it. But yeah, I still want to read that one. I'm very excited about it. And then, Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I liked the first one because it was kind of fun. I liked the Ali Hazelwood flavor with just a little sprinkle of like urban fantasy. I thought that was kind of interesting. After I finished it, I went and watched some reviews, and the reviews were like, hey, the world building didn't I don't know if that totally made sense. And I went, oh, I was not paying attention enough to notice that that didn't make sense. Whoops. So I don't know. I'm excited to read the second one, but I have no idea what it's about. I just saw that there was another one. I was like, oh, that's cool. I had fun with the first one. But I generally have fun with Ali Hazelwood books. Like I've read a lot of them. I think I have like 6 at this point. The next one on my list is a fantasy novel, and it is The Everlasting by Alix E. Harrow. This book I have heard good things about. This is another one that like features knights. So I guess there's 2 on this list that feature knights, which is like a mini theme. Um, yeah, The Everlasting, there's like a historical legendary knight and then kind of a modern historian who studies the knight. And it's about them reliving the same story over and over again, and maybe this time you can rewrite it differently. But I'm not sure exactly what that means, if it's like a time travel type of thing or if it's more wibbly than that. It's definitely in fantasy, so there's real fantastical elements in it. It's not just like a metaphor, but I don't really know what that's going to be. I've just heard that it's fantastic. The last one on my list is a science fiction book that I want to read that seems like a good fun time. It's called Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz. And it's a sci-fi book about an apocalyptic world where a bunch of robots decide to open a noodle shop. And I think that's cool. I think that's neat. I think that's probably fun. I already voted in the sci-fi category because I read Of Monsters and Mainframes this year, and it was an immediate 5 stars upon starting the book, and it held those 5 stars the whole way through. It's one of my favorite books of the year. So I did choose that one. I did vote for it immediately, but it'll be hard for Automatic Noodle to top that. But I guess if Noodle does top it and I get to it in time, I can switch my vote. But yeah, I guess we'll see. That's cool. Is anyone watching this excited about the Goodreads Choice Awards in 2025? Does anyone else has anyone else changed their reading plans now that they've seen the nominees? Because I had plans that I am no longer following because I've gotten excited about these ones instead. And again, my list is like 320 books long on my TBR on Goodreads. So like my plans are always changing based on a variety of factors. Okay. Bye.